Hey everyone, this is Manly Badass here, and welcome to Her Story. Her Story is not so much a game, but rather an interactive experience where you try to search a database for a series of interrogation videos to piece together the events of this murder. The order you view them will probably be quite random, and it features a few twists, and most of the fun is just trying to put two and two together and try to figure out the sequence of events and what really happened. Nice. Search term murder. Alright, I'll just go with what they gave me.
You think it's murder? I mean, clearly it's murder. What can I do to help? Yeah, that's me. But February, I mean, that was months ago. What's that got to do with Simon's murder?
Red, blue, white shirt, different dates.
I didn't murder Simon.
4.
You've got it wrong. You've got the wrong person. I'd like to speak to a lawyer now. Please. You have no murder weapon. You have nothing. And all these stories we've been telling each other, just that. Stories.
I really need to check the date against the other two videos. 6. So this is when July, June, July 1st, okay. There, I found something under innocent. This was on the same date when she said to get the lawyer.
I can take this stuff off now. Did I prove I'm innocent?
She took a lie detector test. Here we go.
Well, a week or so ago.
June 30th.
It would have been the Saturday before my birthday. You know, I get like that on the weekends, have a lie-in, then want to get up and blitz the house. Yes, I'll take a lie detector test. I've never taken a lie detector test before. Does it really work?
Not really. Lie detector tests actually aren't that very reliable.
My name. That was the only question I failed. Your lie detector works.
Huh. Curious. Same thing as those. Here we go. A lot of entries found here. Access limited to the first 5 entries.
I haven't been into work. I guess I've just been waiting to hear from you, hear from my husband. When you suspect someone of murdering their husband.
Only a 3-second clip in that one.
She's crying, I guess. She's sad because she thought she saw her husband with another woman. But it's okay, because she finds out it wasn't her husband, it was his brother. And so it's fine.
I need to know the context of this one more, so I'm going to put that in my session.
I thought it made me sound suspicious. It's not a normal thing to do, to drive to the other end of the country. I wanted to keep it simple. I know it was stupid not to tell you everything. Saying I spent the night in Glasgow when my husband went missing, I thought it would, distract you from what was important.
Distract us from the murder?
It's different now. Now he's... It was supposed to be a secret.
What's this
Just because
tattoo?
Simon is dead doesn't mean I have to give up all his secrets. It doesn't have anything to do with what happened to Simon. No one murdered my husband because he cheated his expenses for a romantic weekend in Oxford.
No tattoo. Tattoo.
I haven't been into work. I've been new, ready to hear from my husband.
Curious and curiouser. Save those. Let's find out about this.
No, he doesn't have any tattoos. He has a scar down here near his stomach, past his hip. Cut himself with some glass. That was before, a long time ago. He looks just like the photo. He's not got his glasses on here though. He takes them off for the camera. But he needs them to see properly, you know. He has to read a newspaper or a menu in a restaurant. Not book so much, or watching TV. He likes TV.
Need the context of this video. I wonder if I can just search him by clip. And on the 18th.
Oh, my tattoo. I got it to express my individuality. It's an apple and a snake.
Nice and edgy. So she picked up a tattoo. At some point in the gap frame of late June, early July.
So I moved out. Got a small bed sit. Got my tattoo to mark the occasion. I was singing in a bar in the evenings, so I had some money, enough money to cover my rent. And I've been doing something similar ever since. I haven't put down any roots. I don't exist.
I feel like that's an important clip.
He saw me singing one of my shows. Pure chance. Not sure I remember what he was even doing there. Afterwards, I had a drink at the bar and he came over and we got talking. I knew who he was. Obviously I knew who he was. But he didn't know who I was. He was fascinated by the likeness. He guessed my name from my tattoo. Told me it was a palindrome, like that would impress me. I enjoyed talking to him. It was amazing to be able to sit and interact and talk to him after all this time. He didn't tell me he was married. I'm not sure what he was thinking. He later told me it was like he was dreaming. A waking dream.
And after my session, there's something really odd about that clip. And it's the mentioning of likeness? Why would that be brought up? That's when it comes up. Always limited to the first 5 entries. What a shame.
Eric was like an uncle to him. They were pretty close. They spend a lot of time with each other, especially when they have to go to conferences. Have you met his wife, Diane?
Gotta remember the wife, Diane's name.
Well, she has a knife. She's been cooking, I guess. She's been cooking him his favourite meal. She's his wife. And he's asleep and she doesn't want to wake him because he's ill. That's why she's sad. Because he's ill and he might die. It's kind of a sad story, so I'm not sure how it ends. Not really. He would go to the pub. He had his drinking buddies there, but no one ever really came back to the house. Sometimes Eric, his boss, and his wife would come over for dinner. That would be us returning the favour. Diana's a really good cook, into her trendy ingredients. And the last time Simon cooked something off MasterChef, he got the recipe off CFAX. And I did my Lloyd Grossman bit, commenting from the sidelines. I had to find fennel from the supermarket. Have you ever eaten fennel?
June 30th. Can't see the tattoo here. The tattoo should be low enough to be seen. That's kind of odd. Maybe he's just slightly out of view? No? It could be. It could be just slightly out of view. Unless you got the tattoo the very next night.
You're reaching here. Oh, I don't know why. No, I've never cheated on anyone. I've never taken anything from anyone. Simon is dead. But I have my baby to care for. Why are you trying to make me sad? Why are you so obsessed with sex and affairs? You cheated on your wife. Is this your thing? What did your wife do? She didn't kill you. You think I killed Simon because he was having an affair? Well, I didn't kill him. I wasn't even there. I was in Glasgow worrying about whether my baby was still growing inside me. I mean, why would I kill Simon? I loved him.
So she's married to Simon. And there's also an Eric and Diane. She popped out a guitar at some point.
Diane is really nice. She helps out with the Glaziers, organises the Christmas party, that sort of thing. They have 2 kids, really sweet kids. She used to look out for me when I worked there.
I can't tell if she has a bruise on one of her cheeks right there. Could just be the lighting.
Yeah, that's Simon's watch. It was a gift from Eric. He got it this year. It was a wedding anniversary gift. Steel. It would have been Diane who chose it. She has really nice taste. That time, it must eliminate me. I was in Glasgow then. Simon and Eric arguing? No, I can't imagine they'd be arguing. And they get on so well. Unless it was something to do with work.
Or an affair.
Maybe Simon was being too much of a perfectionist. But I don't know. You should ask Diane.
Let me think about what I'm going to search next. Damn, 61 entries on Simon alone.
Simon Smith.
Simon
He
Smith.
works at Ernst Brothers Glass. They do windows, all kinds of glass. Simon does the more special work, mirror making, feature windows, artistic things, really beautiful things. Simon is 6 foot, darkish blonde hair, average build. He's clean shaven. If his beard grows, it goes ginger, so he shaves it. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with ginger hair. I bought a photo. It's a spring photo. This was taken last year on holiday in Rome. It's the best one I have.
There's a lot of small clips.
It's the Rockington Arms, the Rock. It's run by a nice couple, Peter and Susan. There's some other regulars there that Simon likes to drink with, and the barmaid they're having sometimes, Helen. Peter said Simon had been in and had a few drinks.
I'm gonna go over the Helen thing in a second.
Yes, there's an Amstrad one. No one uses it for very much. There's a printer so you can write letters on it. Simon sometimes plays games, you know, climb the tower, save the princess, that kind of thing. Simon isn't the type to run off or do anything crazy. Someone must have done something to him, or there must have been some kind of accident. So what do we do next?
Princess. Even a lot of clips on that.
It wasn't the present so much. It was one of those arguments that had been simmering for a while. The present was a mirror, a nice mirror. He'd engraved the glass, the kind of mirror a princess would have in a story. He made it specially for me. Let me see. Yes. I drove in here because I remember, well, I went over the river, and then there was a church there. Yeah. And I probably parked, well, I remember seeing a street sign called Princess Street. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it must be this one. There.
Princess Street. I could probably search a term for that to get something more specific.
Yeah. We were 17. It was a nice wedding, people said. Simon looked very handsome in the photos. His parents paid for everything, but he's an only child, so it was important to them. It was what they called a shotgun wedding, but if you looked at the photos, you couldn't tell. The dress was beautiful. It looked like Princess Diana's. The train wasn't quite as long, though. There's a great photo of the bridesmaid helping to carry it out of the car.
Don't have much of a story about the actual murder yet, though. Right now, it's just been little anecdotes from her life.
We were obsessed with fairy tales.
She acts the weirdest on this date,
Not
though.
just the pretty ones, but the traditional ones. They were dark and real, bizarre and violent. Felt like life. We had this huge old book that I think Mum must have bought from a library sale. The illustrations had thin tracing paper over them to protect them. They were in colour, shiny plates. At the front of the book was an index of illustrations. We read that more than the actual stories. We'd read aloud the captions and flip between the pictures. There was something intimate about peeling back the tracing paper, undressing the pictures. Rapunzel's hair is cut. The eagle plucks out his heart. The princess pricks her finger.
Kind of curious about this search query here. Here we go. This might be not related to that.
So, it was Friday evening. We had an argument. He left. On Saturday, he didn't come back. I waited all day. He was supposed to go help Eric out with something on the Saturday afternoon. They had a job. He didn't show. So Eric was ringing on the phone. I checked at the Rock, that's our local. They said they'd seen him on the Friday night, but not since. He still wasn't back this morning. It just isn't like him at all. Still not back by dinner time. It's getting dark again. So I decided to come see you. His parents haven't heard anything either.
So as far as she was concerned with the disappearance, of course the reason they're asking her questions is because they suspect a murder or something. Oops, wrong one. Here we go. Here's the meat.
Well, she wasn't my real mother, but she raised me. Do you want to hear the story? It's a real-life fairy tale. Fairy tales. Stories about lost princesses, evil witches, magical mirrors, and lost children. So you see, even before I knew the truth, I'd found it in those stories.
She's leading into something right here. It's probably pretty important. Add these to my session. And check out these clips here.
Sorry. The picture, the way it's drawn, just reminded me of the books we used to read as
So
children.
she brings up that thing here.
Like
It seems to be a recurring theme about the fairy tales.
To me. Rapunzel was my favourite.
There's Rapunzel
My
again.
brain is just full of it. How many of these in colour? And the Glaziers. I worked there some weekends and Simon had a part-time job there too. That was Eric's generosity. He was always good at helping out other people's children. Simon was quiet, more thoughtful than the other boys. Even then, he had a sense of craftsmanship. Wasn't always rushing stuff. Boys that age are just running around like headless chickens most of the time. You know? Plus he had that look. He looked like a fairy tale prince from one of my books.
She's really
Simon
into the
never
fairy
cheated on
tales.
me. He was devoted to me, and I was devoted to him. Nothing in life is easy. We were good to each other. Life isn't a fairy tale.
You sure wish it was, don't you?
You do what you can.
A lot of entries for that very specific thing.
It's Rapunzel. The story starts when she's born. Mother Gothel, a witch, takes Rapunzel from her parents and keeps her locked up in this tower. Rapunzel gets pregnant by the prince, and Mother Gothel is furious, so she cuts off her hair and throws it. Actually, her hair's already short here, so that's already happened. So she throws her into the wilderness, and Rapunzel is reunited with the prince, who's blind. But she kills him with her tears, and so it's a happy ending. Is that too much?
Happy ending indeed. Okay.
Did I pass? Sorry, I messed it up with all that Rapunzel stuff. Do you need me to do that card again?
Maybe it doesn't even have anything to do with Rapunzel. Some kind of weird psychological test, and every time she keeps going back to Rapunzel.
Could the hairs have
Excuse
come
yourself
from
as a girl
somewhere
trapped in a
else?
tower.
I mean, could they... We have a lot of dolls in the attic. There's a Rapunzel doll with long blonde hair. Could they have come from there?
It's full of Rapunzel. 17 entries found about baby.
We spent the wedding night in a hotel in Brighton. It would have been too much to do more. We were saving for the baby. It was wonderful to be in a hotel, away from home, just alone together. Since then, we've always tried to get away for our holiday.
I wonder if this tells me essentially which one's videos I've watched, so I have an idea of what I'm looking at and kind of sort it out and what I've seen.
We couldn't afford our own place. Simon dropped out of school, went full-time at the Glaziers. That was Eric's generosity. We moved in with his mum and dad. They had a spare room for us and the baby, if it came. It was a nice change, time to myself, living there for those months, full of hope. No, I lost the baby. I had a miscarriage at 8 months. We carried on living at Simon's parents until, well, it was only a few months after.
Figured. She stopped talking about the baby after a certain point.
It was after dinner. I'd spoken to Simon's parents on the phone. I looked up for an early night and I suddenly had this thought. I think it was something his mum had said. She'd been speaking about old stuff, sad stuff, about when we lived there, about the baby. There's some boxes in the cellar, nursery stuff, stuff we never needed and I never had the heart to throw out. And I suddenly remembered that when I'd looked down there the week before, those boxes, that pile was in the wrong place. I went cold all over. I went down there with a torch and went straight to the back, and that's when I saw the bin bags. Pulled them open, saw the body. I screamed and that's when I called the police.
Ooh, what the... Wait, that's just me. That's me, right? Yeah, it's just a reflection showing up.
Yes. It was a shock to him. I mean, we never thought it was possible. I don't know what he... I mean, I hadn't decided whether to keep the baby. I wasn't really ready to talk to him about it.
Music.
I left the next day, Saturday. I slept for a few hours in the car. When I woke up, I came straight back. Simon wasn't returning my calls and I wanted to try and make up. I got back to the house and Simon wasn't there, and I... Excuse me. Is there a bin?
Trash. That's odd. Bags. Here we go.
No. The whole thing was wrong. The bags, I think they were from our kitchen, you can probably check that. We never go into the cellar. It's just a place we put things we don't need. Dad used to grow mushrooms there. The bags were taped up. I think it was parcel tape, but I think it was ours. When will the police let me back in the house? And they let me take a bag of clothes with me, but...
So they found salmon in the cellar.
Okay.
Trash bins
I
or
parked
trash
up on the
bags.
street. It was busy, so I had to park down the end of the
2:30.
road. Walked up, knocked on the door.
Clearly see
no
her
answer.
arm sleeve rolled up there. There's
I
no
took my
tattoo.
keys out of
She
my
had to have
bag
gone
and
that
locked the
night.
door. The main lock was unlocked. You can tell because the key doesn't turn when you try to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes in the shoe rack. I shouted out. I walked straight into the kitchen because he usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper, but he wasn't there. I touched the kettle. It was cold. I looked quickly in the living room. Nothing. So I walked upstairs to the bedroom and he wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. I had a shower. The phone rang whilst I was in the shower. I didn't answer it. I think it was Eric. Then I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, though I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. This time I spoke to him. Then I called Doug and Eleanor. And then I decided to come and see you. Eleanor?
Doug and Eleanor at the session.
Okay. I parked up on the street. It was busy, so I parked down the end of the road. I walked up to the house. I knocked on the door. No answer. I took my keys out of my bag, unlocked the door. The main lock was unlocked. I could tell because the key wouldn't turn when I tried to turn it to the left. I walked in. Simon's coat wasn't on the peg. I couldn't see his shoes on the shoe rack. I shouted out for him. I walked straight into the kitchen. He usually sits in there to have a cup of tea and read his paper. He wasn't there. I touched the kettle. It was cold. I looked quickly into the living room. Nothing. I walked upstairs to the bedroom. He wasn't there. I didn't search for him because it was pretty clear he wasn't there. Then I had a shower. Whilst I was in the shower, the phone rang. I think it was Eric, his boss. I didn't answer it. Then I came out and I was just exhausted. So I lay down on the bed and I fell asleep, but I didn't mean to. I woke up a couple of hours later and I was surprised to see no one in the bed next to me. And then I remembered where I was and what had happened. That's when Eric called again. I spoke to him. Then I called Simon's parents. And then I decided to come and see you. That enough?
She is way too oddly composed about all of this. Body. Singing about the bodies of my mother.
The bruise.
Yeah, there is a
I have a really
bruise.
fast metabolism, so stuff like that just comes and goes. I don't know if there's much more that I can tell you that I haven't already told the other policemen. I found the body. His body. It didn't look real. And his throat. It looked like his throat had been cut. And I didn't see his glasses. He has these thick glasses. He doesn't always wear them.
I remember the glasses for a search term later.
Really?
Singing about the murder.
They laid a body on the dock to dry. Oh, the wind and the rain, till a fiddler with a fiddle came walking by. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made a fiddle bow of her long hair. Oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, he made a fiddle bow of her long blonde hair. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made fiddle pegs of her finger bows. Oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, he made fiddle pegs from her finger bows. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made a fiddle out of her breastbone. Oh, the wind.
I'm really digging all these spooky lyrics.
The sound could pierce
They're
her heart
kind of a mix of hipsterism and being
Oh,
awful.
the dreadful wind and rain. But the only tune that the fiddle could play was oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, the only tune that the fiddle could play was oh, the dreadful wind and rain.
Come on, guys, don't clap.
Anything may be used as evidence against you. Can you imagine? I tried. I tried to get pregnant too, but it didn't happen. I slept with so many boys, men. My body refused. I think my period stopped because hers had. I was pretty ill. I mean, how could we stay the same now? I felt like Hannah had really fucked things up.
Hannah.
Set us down separate paths. We had become different.
That's scary looking. All new clips.
My name is Hannah. H-A-N-N-A-H. It's Pandre. It reads the same backwards as forwards. It doesn't work from lyric though, it's not quite symmetrical, but well, I mean, you get the idea. Sorry. Hannah Smith, I live at 31 Gladstone Street. What are you doing talking about Eve?
Eve. I remember that name to type in the search. So that was recorded when... Okay. That was recorded before they walked in. And I'm talking about Eve. She gets a tattoo of the snake and the apple, Adam's and Eve. She'll probably do a search for Adam after Eve also. And she also is really into Rapunzel, which is kind of curious.
Yes, my name is Hannah Smith. Oh, shit. Sorry.
It's a bit odd how she failed the lie detector test on her name.
Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence. When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time. midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by
Twins.
Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was
That's
dead.
why he said the likeness was uncanny.
But I wasn't. She wrote all this stuff in a diary. Amazing what people will admit to on paper.
That's why she fails a lie detector test and the stupid tattoo thing.
She recognized me from the window. She told me to come inside, and she hid me. They had made the attic into a place where Hannah could play. There was a dollhouse. She hid me up there. No one else ever went into the attic. It was her place.
Getting a lot of flashes. It could just be like every time I hear an important clip that happens. Eve.
Well, my friend Eve. I mean, she was a friend from when I was a kid. And she was always more popular with the boys, and I used to hate her for it. I mean, really hate her sometimes.
And you can clearly see this shirt turned up here. Like I said, no tattoo.
Yes. We'd fight. We fought on the beach once, and I held Eve's head underwater. There was no one else around. It was at the far end of the beach, and I held her head under, and I kept it out. And for a moment, I just wanted to kill her and watch her drown. But that was it. It was just a moment. We made up after. It was a love-hate relationship.
These kids really don't stop.
A police station. Yeah. When I was young, we ran away on my birthday. Bob Dylan was playing in London, and we thought we could break into his tour bus and have him take us with him. The taxi driver we paid to drop us off, I mean, we'd saved money, pinched a bit here and there to pay for the fare. He was suspicious because we were so young, so he told the police. So they came and picked us up and took me back to Portsmouth. My mum picked me up from the station. But I blamed everything on my friend Eve. So my parents let me off.
I wonder if Eve is the other twin. Could be Diane, too.
My mother called me Eve.
Ah!